Greetings, YouTube. The other day I saw a quote from a conservative Republican along the lines of, President Obama, you're not listening to America. And it was in reference to the health care debate. Now, there are things that I don't agree with as far as the Democratic Party and President Obama are concerned. In the case of the Democratic Party, I think that pretty much for my entire life they've been a bunch of spineless idiots, never actually taking the initiative in any political situation, and always letting the Republicans lead the way. And when they've had the opportunity to resist Republican conservative movements, they've pretty much failed miserably. They're a very sorry excuse for a political party, but they're better than the Republicans in my book. And I have things that I don't agree with as far as President Obama is concerned. I don't believe in his stance on same-sex marriage. I don't believe in his stance on firearm ownership. I wish he had closed our torture camps faster, and I would love if he had gotten us out of Iraq already, a place that we should never have been in. But when it comes to healthcare, President Obama has actually listened to me. Speaking of healthcare, I don't have much health at the moment. I'm still fighting off a cold. Because President Obama has been listening to people when they say things like, lack of healthcare has bankrupted my family, or healthcare has meant that I've had to fire employees because I can't keep up with payments, or I can't hire new people because I can't afford their healthcare payments. Or, the fact that in our nation, the most powerful first world nation there is, quite possibly the most powerful nation that has ever been, we have American citizens every single year that die because we don't have health care, which is an obscenity, absolute obscenity. And I'm tired of people bandying around the concept that President Obama's healthcare plan is socialist. It's not socialist. It is no more socialist than our military, police, fire department, education, libraries, parks and services, Coast Guard. You get the point. All the things I just named are not socialist entities. They are the very foundation of Western civilization. And without them, we wouldn't have a civilization worth calling it that. And those are all things that get paid for from my tax dollars and your tax dollars. And I don't see any reason why we should not be adding healthcare to that list, like every other industrialized nation on the planet. And this is the point where no one has been able to answer me yet. Why is it, amongst all the industrialized nations, America is so unique that we cannot get healthcare right? Every other industrialized nation has. All of them. And I mean, ideally, I would like to have the system that the French have. The best system. But Spain's system would work. Any of the Norse nations, the Scandinavian nations would be nice. I would take England's system. I would take Canada's system. I would take any of the healthcare systems from any of the industrialized nations over ours. Because ours costs far more than theirs do. I believe Britain's is the average cost, and our system is 3 times more expensive in America, that we spend $3 for every $1 that the British spend. And yet we, in America, have the lowest life expectancy amongst the industrialized nations. So why is that? Why do we spend 3 times more than the average cost of healthcare in any other civilized place, and yet we have the lowest level of life expectancy? That makes no sense. And President Obama is aware of this fact, and he wants to change things. Except, of course, the Republican Party stands in the way, crosses their arms, squints their eyes really tight, and says, "No!" like some petulant 3-year-old. Because the people paying them to say this and act this way want it that way. Not the people that voted them into power, folks. The people that are paying them, bribing them, to say this. Big pharmaceutical, the insurance companies, and other lobbying groups that benefit from human suffering. They make a profit off of human suffering. So, the American people are saying, we want change. We want a system that takes care of all of us. We want a system that costs less and that does a better job. So don't listen when the conservative Republicans say, we have the best healthcare system in the world. The only way you can define ours as best is the one that makes the most profit for the most people and does the least for the American people. By that definition, yep, we have the best healthcare system in the world. But by any rubric that anybody else uses, that any other industrialized nation defines healthcare as, well, we suck. And President Obama wants to change that. And I support him in that endeavor. I really would love if the Republican Party would stop taking bribe money, get out of the way, and let him get the job done.